Hi everyone, it's Monica, and welcome back to Tailor-Made Cards for You. Well, I'm here today to share with you one of my new passport kits. And this kit is called Passport to School. It is a vintage-inspired school kit where you can create all sorts of fun projects and cards which are school-inspired. Now, before I get into showing you the projects that I created, I thought it might be fun to share with you some of my inspiration for these kits. As you know, I am a vintage collector and I collect all sorts of old vintage items. I have old songbooks from elementary school. I have old catalog cards from old libraries. I even have old arithmetic books. And I collect these as I find them, and then I'm able to find some of the images within these books and song sheets and ephemera pieces to create some of my items. They just don't create books and paper items like they used to. Some of the graphics are just so awesome, and of course I just love finding items that have the actual dates on them. Now, not only do I have old school books and song sheets, but I also create just old school items. So these report cards that are from the early 1900s are original school report cards. And not only do I have school report cards from people that I don't know, I actually, in my own personal collection, have report cards from some of our great-grandparents. Now, another thing that I like to collect as well are old school photos. A lot of these photos are black and white, and the pictures are just so awesome. I love some of the expressions and some of the kids' faces, and some of those teachers just look so old-fashioned. So I thought I would give you a little peek into how I get inspired for some of my kits. Now, like I said, not only do I have my new Passport to School kit in the shop already, I also have all of these school add-ons that go perfectly with the kit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer you a bundle where you can get all the school items, including the passport kit and all of the add-ons, for a really nice discount. So be sure to watch for that at the end of the video. All right, so let me go ahead and share with you what I created. Now, instead of creating a passport card this time, I decided to create a journal. And I used some of the paper that was in my pack, and I just increased the size. These are all JPEG images, so you can easily increase or decrease the sizes. And I increased the size to be able to create these journals, or this journal, as well as these little note cards. Now, I created a tuck with one of the papers that has old-fashioned rulers where I can tuck in some of the ephemera. And these little inserts I created using just some old paper that I had. The journal actually holds 3 signatures, and as you can see, they slide easy in and out, so you can easily replace these little signature booklets. One of the things that I like to do with my journals is I like to add a little library card in the back, so that way it looks like somebody can actually check out the journal if they want to. But it's just a fun little addition to the journal, and if you're giving it as a gift, it would be a great way to add a little note to the person that you're giving it to. I also created these cute little notepads as well that you see over to the right, and these again were used with my kit. I used the paper that I found in my kit to create not only a square notepad, but also a tag shaped one as well. And again, these are just little notepads that you can easily put on your countertop, or even giving it to a teacher for a little gift where they can just have it as a little notepad. So what I thought I would do is I would go ahead and show you how to create that little pocket for these library cards. Like I said, the library cards are a add-on in my shop, but you're going to need to make your own little holder for these library cards, and I wanted to go ahead and show you how to do that. So these are really easy. What I typically do is I will use a manila folder and I will cut it up. I really like the texture and the weight of the manila folders, and they make great holders for your library cards. And then you're going to take your library card and you're going to measure it. And then based on the length of your library card, you want to add an inch. And this is going to be a ½ inch on each side. And then that's going to be how wide your library card holder is going to be. Now, the length of your library card holder is going to be about 6 inches. And this is going to give you room to be able to score that pocket. So once you have your width and your length figured out, then you want to go ahead and score your pocket at 1 3/4. All right, so once you have the length and the width figured out, then it's just a matter of getting out your scoreboard and scoring your sides. Now, as you see, a lot of times I just eyeball it, but I know a lot of you crafters out there like to be precise. So again, just, figure out the actual size of your library card and then go from there. Now, you don't want your library card to be too tight. So when you give yourself an inch extra and you go to score it, you're going to score a little less than a 1/2 inch, so that way your library card will have some movement. And your folds are going to go on the back as well, so even if you do have your folds a little bit uneven, that will be fine. So if you want to, you can score your first side, which is probably your left side, fold it over, and then just kind of measure to make sure you're going to have some movement for your library card. If you do exactly a 1/2 inch, then your library card may be a little bit tight. Now, again, you can trim your library card, so just kind of keep that in mind when you're putting it together. All right, so once you have your score lines in place, and it's just a matter of trimming down the sides. Now, I like to cut diagonals on the bottom portion where the pocket is, so that way when I go to do my fold, it's not real bulky at the edges. And then you're going to trim off right on the score line the longer portion of your cardstock. And then that way you'll have a little fold where your pocket is. And you're going to do this on both sides. Now also, when you do your diagonal trim, like I said, you're going to want to trim it on all of the corners. And then that way when you fold it over, again, it won't be very bulky. All right, so once you have both sides cut and scored, then it's just a matter of folding over those scored pieces that you have left over on the back. And you're going to want to use some really nice, strong adhesive. I like to use that red line tape because it is really strong. And anytime I have something where I'm going to be having a tag or something being pulled in and out, I like to use really strong adhesive just so it won't come off. Now, before you actually fold over your panels, just do a check with your card to make sure that it's going to go in and out really nicely. The last thing you're going to want is to get everything done and then you're going to find that your library card isn't fitting really nice. So just do a check before you actually finish off with the tape. And then once you have your pieces of tape pulled off, just go ahead and fold over your panels and your pocket is pretty much complete. Now, one thing that I like to do once my pocket is complete is sometimes I do like to add some decorative tape just along the top part of the pocket. And I do this for a couple of reasons. Number one, if I know I'm going to be adhering the pocket onto something where I'm not going to see the back of it, it just gives it that extra strength having some sort of a tape. But in this instance, I decided to use the ruler that is off of my kit, and it just kind of matched the theme. And it still will add some extra adhesive and some security to make sure that that pocket doesn't tear or open up. So once I had that ruler piece trimmed down, I went ahead and I just added it right onto my pocket. Now, I centered it right in the middle for a couple of reasons. Number one, I wanted to make sure that sentiment showed that was on the ruler. But also, I'm going to fold the ruler pieces over the sides. I'm not going to necessarily trim them because I want them to fold over because, again, they're going to add as extra adhesive to help keep that pocket in place. Okay, so like I said in the beginning, I am going to go ahead and offer you up a bundle of all these school items. So I'm going to bundle together the passport to school along with all of the add-ons, and I'm going to give you a 30% discount on everything in that bundle. So that way you don't have to buy the pieces individually, and when you go to craft, you'll have all sorts of items for your school projects. Now, this video is also part of a video hop for Crafters Castle. And I am the sponsor for this video hop. So be sure to check all the instructions below on what you need to do to enter into a drawing to win the Passport to School kit. As you hop along, you're going to get all sorts of inspiration from some other crafters on using the Passport to School. So don't forget to leave me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought of the new kit. All right, everybody, thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll see you again next time.